Welcome back, guys. It is the Brothers Geek Out podcast. It's Kibler here, and I have a special guest on today. And I'm slightly nervous because I don't usually get like creators like this on the podcast. So I've been very honored to have Kalani come on and geek out about his new project. And welcome, Kalani. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here. Excited to geek out with you.
No, awesome. So it's next month's Sky Hoshi comes out. How excited are you to be working on? I mean, this is I would say a passion project, and you're like a man of many talents because you're not just got the idea together. You're directing. You wrote the story, the cinematography. I mean, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is a lot. Yes, but yes, I'm extremely excited. I mean, it's been a labor of love. We've been working on this movie for a while, and comes out April 21st. And yeah, like you said, it's a small team of us making this movie. So I wrote it, I directed it, filmed it, edited it, wow. Did a lot. And there was a lot of amazing people involved as well. And very grateful for all the awesome actors. Olivia Roldan and Hunter Cole, who play the two leads in the movie, are like amazing. And just everybody we worked with. I think people are going to love this movie. It's a very fun movie. If you love anime, then this is the movie for you. Awesome. And yeah, it's just a great fantasy film.
No, that's great. I'm an 80s baby, so like when I saw the trailer, it reminded me a lot of, it gave me mannequin sort of vibes. I'm not sure if you remember that movie by any chance. It was in the 80s. It was about a mannequin that came to life.
Oh, nice.
Had a great soundtrack. One. Yeah, so I saw that, and Weird Science, which is another one where they create a character that comes to life. So that's awesome. When I saw the trailer, it gave me that sort of 80s, 90s vibe. My anime history is the late 80s and 90s. So I grew up on Akira and Fist of the North Star.
Yes.
And then moving into sort of the Dragon Ball Z era of things. And then I still love those to bits, but I've seen how much anime has influenced, I think, in all genres of, like, when it comes to comic books to movies, and the visuals. I mean, for you, when you did this idea of saying, I'm going to create this story, like, how do you what was your process? Like, what was that idea, that inception that it gave you to start this?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm very glad you said all those things, because I slipped into the 80s by like a month. I'm born in 89 in November. So
awesome.
I slipped right in. But I grew up loving like all of those amazing 80s and 90s films, man. Those are like everything. Those made me want to make movies. And so the fact that it like gave you that vibe, that was my hope, that people would see it and kind of get that, ET vibe or something. Yeah. So that's awesome. I'm glad that you felt that. That was the goal. So,
no, that's amazing, because I think as a creator and trying to put a vision out there and hoping that it can connect in some sort of way. Right. And I think that's where you've done your job perfectly, because for somebody who, like my younger brothers, they're big fans of like Naruto, and Dragon Ball Z is the biggest part of their lives. And I mean, as they were growing up, I was watching that with them. But when I saw your trailer, I was like, oh my God, like, you've really given it this really cool vibe of like bringing back those 90s kind of elements into that sort of style of movie making that you've done.
Oh, that's awesome. I love to hear that, because that was the goal. It's I love those like old like 80s, 90s adventure fantasy films. Those are the things that make me want to like go to the movies, make movies and stuff. And so I tried to kind of distill that, like, the magical feeling of those movies and infuse that into this one. And so that was some of the motivation behind making this movie, is like, I want to make like a movie that I haven't seen made in a long time, something with that style and aesthetic, that feeling, and something that I always grew up watching and loving. And so let's take that tone and, like Back to the Future, or something,
Yes.
and make a movie today with that feeling. And Sky Hoshi was born, and I love anime, and we actually had a connection with a comic store in Long Island City, and I was like, well, Anime NYC is happening here. Let's put these pieces together. Okay, I think I have and I've had this idea kind of floating around in the back of my mind for a while, like something anime related with, a character who comes to life or whatever. And so all of this kind of came together for me being like, okay, I think now is the time to make this. And so, yeah, I'm just so excited. The movie it's a fantasy movie about an anime character who comes to life, falls out of her poster, goes missing from her anime, and then has to find her way back home before her anime is destroyed. And so it's just like, it's a really fun ride. It's like, it's a fantasy movie, but there's like a ton of comedy, a ton of heart. And it's just very like, it's very grounded. Like if this actually happened today, and that was the fun of it too, is kind of thinking about like, okay, if the one element in this movie is the fact that this could happen, an anime character could actually fall out of her poster, and all the other rules of the world was the same, what would happen, and so I had a lot of fun with that, man. I think people are going to really enjoy this movie.
No, that's great. I'm excited to watch it. I've signed up already. The trailer grabbed me. So like, I know how
Yes.
hard if a trailer can grab you to watch something, then it's you've done your work, dude. Like I can only give you
Sweet.
props for that you've done your work very, very,
Thank
very
you.
well. The other thing that I want to talk about, because as much as I'm an artist myself, I've been doing comic book art for almost 20 years.
That's amazing.
There was a unique style of lighting that you put into this movie as well. Like, did you study film, or was it, did you study film? Like because the lighting was great, and I
Thank
love
you.
that sort of visuals, because for me personally, like I did photography for a couple of years, and you bounce around from doing like creative artwork to movie making to photography, and lighting is key. And I spoke to, I think it was Greg Clark who did the Batman.
Oh, that's cool.
And I did an interview with him last year before the Batman came out, and Dylan Clark, who was the producer, and we spoke about the technology they used in that movie. And for me personally, the thing that grabbed me the most about the Batman was the stunning visuals it had, and the lighting was key. I mean, for yourself, did you study a lot of film and lighting when it came to putting this together, or in your past?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always trying to get better every time. Like every time we're on something, I'm always like pushing myself to learn and grow. I didn't do like any traditional film schooling. It was really just like obsess over it, learn from the greats by watching everything that they do, and just like make, and so that's my story. And
Awesome.
it's been great, man. I like you can't really replace just doing it over and over again. Like there's something to that just like
That's right.
makes you get better. And so all of my favorite inspirations are always, like Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, Robert Zemeckis, like those are like the people I really look up to, and all of their movies are so fantastic. And so I always watch a couple films before I make a film, and just kind of, I chose a few films to ruin for myself. I was like, okay, these movies are perfect. I will watch them and ruin them for myself so that I can just like learn everything I possibly can from this, And so from storytelling to lighting to cinematography, just like absorbing it all. And so The Goonies is one of them. Learn from The Goonies, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Back to the Future. Those are like the three. So those are the three movies that I watch religiously.
and they're great blueprints. I'm a massive Back to the Future fan. If I could show you my wall right now, my holy grails are all up here.
Love it.
I got to meet Christopher Lloyd last year and Claudia Wells. They were at a local Comic-Con, and I met Michael J. Fox about 6-7 years ago when he came to London, cool. And absolutely amazing. I was in awe. I mean, I was like, oh my God, this is the guy that got me into being creative and just getting out there and really pushing yourself. And like, Oh man, it was amazing. But I spoke to Bob Gale when he came down as well, and
No
he was
way.
saying, yeah, no,
That's
like so
awesome.
I'm a proper geek when it comes to Back to the Future. I
I love
absolutely love
that.
it.
Yes.
Uh, Even my wife was like, "You're gonna get the DeLorean on the wedding day for your car." I was like, "Oh my god, this is why I married you." Uh,
Yes. Wait,
so
did you do that?
yeah, but she did, she did.
Oh, that's amazing.
I was just gonna come in. She was like, "Did you get a wedding car for the day?" And I was like, "No, I'm just gonna come in my brother's car." And she was like, "No, you can't do
You
that.
gotta get the
You've
DeLorean.
got to get the
Yes.
DeLorean."
Oh
Absolutely
man.
amazing day.
That's the
Beautiful day.
greatest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, no, it's one of my jolly memories. But Bob Gale was
Yes.
saying that with the script writing and trying to get that film put together, I know the amount of madness they went through, but it's
Mm,
a perfect blueprint for anybody who's because people are studying it now because
yeah.
it, that that was a lightning strike of a movie like to this day. And the ones
Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Goonies, like these are movies that we could watch 1,000 times and I could still watch it and never be bored of it and still be that
Yeah.
little kid and enjoy it as much as I can. I mean, what did you think of
Totally.
Ki Hu Kwan winning the Oscar?
Oh, it's finally, right? I'm
Yes,
so
yeah,
happy. Yeah, amazing.
so
Yeah,
good, so good.
so cool.
Such a wholesome person, such a wholesome
Yeah,
person.
love that.
So I
So,
wanted to ask Kalani, what is your main go-to sort of anime? Which one was it that kind of you got stuck in the world of it?
dude, well, I would say Cowboy Bebop was the first one for me.
That
It's
was a
just
good
so
one.
good, man. Bebop
Yeah.
is amazing. Big, huge Bebop fan. I like, yeah, I think that's one of my all-time favorites. It's a classic. And
Yeah.
then recently I watched Plunderer. I don't know if you've seen it,
Okay.
but
I've heard of it, not seen it yet.
yeah, not a ton of people have seen it, but it's really, really good. That I would say Plunderer is the reason why I wanted to go like full fantasy.
Hmm.
Because there were so many fantasy elements to that story that were very, very interesting to me. And the story was just very cool. And so yeah, Plunderer was a really big inspiration to me when it came to just writing Sky Hoshi, honestly. And the funny thing is, if you watch Plunderer and you watch Sky Hoshi, you're like, how is this connected? If there's no connection
Okay.
whatsoever. And it's true, there is really no connection. But what it was for me was it was so inspiring to me to watch such a great fantasy like story that I was like, okay, I want to try my hand at writing like a really cool fantasy story, you know? And so that's really all it was. It was just like kind of the catalyst to get me to do something on the fantasy level. But Plunderer is great, man. It's got some really cool twists and
I'm gonna
turns.
put that down on my list to watch, definitely.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
strange. You got to get past like episode 3, and then you're like, okay, I think I understand what's going on.
But
But
that is amazing that it allows you to, it will inspire you to kind of create something. Like I think that was for me for Interstellar. Like
oh yeah,
once I watched Interstellar, it really fascinated me about space and time. And I
totally.
ended up doing loads of canvas pieces about space and black holes and planets. And it made
That's
me
awesome.
reconnect with science and the world and space, the world out there. So it's amazing that you said that an anime that didn't link up to your inception idea of Sky Hoshi,
Right,
but it inspired you to say, you know what, I'm gonna go full fantasy on this and give it a
right.
go. So that's amazing. That is absolutely
Yeah,
amazing. I'll check that out. I'll check that out. But yeah, Cowboy
yeah,
Bebop. Oh my god, I loved it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So
And
good.
I loved the Netflix show. A lot of people say they didn't like it. There was
Okay.
a few things wrong with it, but I did like. I think for me personally, because uh, I loved the way it looked.
Okay, yes. They
I'm a
did a
look person.
fantastic job with that. Yes.
Yeah, I can
The
understand it. Didn't.
cinematography
Yeah.
alone was just amazing. I would say episode 1 is insanely good. Like I watched episode 1 and I was like my mind was blown. I was like, this is so good. And then, it slowly got a little worse over time, but it was still like the episode 1, it was very good. I really enjoyed it. So
It's hard. I think. I mean, I suppose for you as a filmmaker, when you're adapting something that's coming from like 2D artwork to
Mhm.
live screen, I mean, adaptations are very hard to do. I think personally,
Yeah.
if you're not got the right type of writing skills and scripts and things like that. Visuals,
Right.
I think we're at a point now in our time where visuals, you can do absolutely anything now with
Right.
CGI and artificial intelligence now. But I mean, for you, if there was an anime that you would direct and say, you know what, I want to make this a live version, what would it be?
Oh man, I mean, I would have said Bebop. I
Yeah.
maybe if they want to reboot it, I'll give it a shot because I love it so much. I'm such a Bebop fan. I feel like
Yeah.
maybe I could potentially do it justice. I don't know. It's so big though. You're always gonna get somebody upset. You know, it's like nobody's. It's like Star Wars at this point, right? Where it's
Yeah.
like somebody's gonna be annoyed with it. You know, you could do no
Exactly.
right, but at the same time, it would be really fun to make something Bebop related. I mean, that would be amazing.
Oh man, it's so cool, so
But
cool.
kind of what you were saying though, like that's the cool thing about Sky Hoshi is that we actually created the character, who's Olivia Roldan, who
Mhm.
plays Sky. And so, you know, we created the character Sky as like the live action person first, and then we had an anime artist draw the anime version of her. So we kind of did it backwards. And so I think
Oh,
that's what's
cool.
really cool is that like Sky Hoshi looks exactly like the anime version and the anime because it is her, you know. So
Yeah, that's
it
right.
was
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah, it was cool to do that instead of doing a live adaptation. You're like, well, I gotta get this person to look like this character that somebody like invented out of thin air, you know.
That's
But
right.
that was the cool thing about Sky Hoshi is like, this character actually is this person. So that's pretty cool.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you play a little part in this as well, which is amazing. Like
Yeah.
you're doing everything on the movie. That's hard work. But where did
Yeah.
this character come from that you were like, you know what, I'm gonna play it, or did somebody else recommend for you to play it?
Oh, I wanted to play it. It's just like a fun character. So I play Justin, the quiet drummer.
Hmm.
And so the movie revolves around Adam, who is the keyboardist in a punk rock band. And they everybody hates their music, but they think they rock. And so I'm the quiet drummer in the back. I got a couple of fun little lines, you know, but I'm the biggest loser of them all. But it was really fun, man. It was fun to kind of play the drummer. And I'm actually like a musician, so I play guitar and
Okay.
drums. And so I was like, well, I need somebody who can actually play the right beats. Because as a
Hmm.
musician, it drives me nuts when you watch somebody on screen play music, but it's not correct. I just can't do it. And so I was like, you know what? I'll just play the drums because I know what I'm hitting and it's going to be correct later,
Yeah.
you know? So I that for a logistical reason, I was like, okay, I'm going to play drums, but also it'll be a fun character. And so, yeah, it was really fun. I created this like really shy, weird character who has a couple of zingers. It's great. Yeah.
Oh no, that's
So you'll see me.
you should be proud, dude. You should be proud. I mean, getting projects like this put together it's not easy work, and as you said, it's taken up a lot of time as well. And you should be proud, dude, because it's always nice to once you get to see the final product and be like, my visions came to life. Like it must be because for me personally, there's unfinished projects that I've had in my past, and I've never got to finish it off. Where
Right.
you've done this project and you've got to finish it off, you've come to the end and you're ready to premiere it. It must be a really nice, overwhelming feeling that you've got right now.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. And thank you so much, man. I'm just so excited for people to see it. And um, the people who've seen clips of it, seen the trailer, seen like little bits and pieces here and there, has just been amazing feedback. I mean, people have
That's
like
good.
loved it. People, a lot of anime people love the anime version of Sky
Yeah.
Hoshi. When we actually filmed at Anime NYC for like the big, you know, ending of the movie, and we had fans like, you know,
Oh
anime fans
man.
coming up to her and being like, "Oh, who are you dressed as? That's really cool cosplay," you know, and it was really validating to like have all these anime fans like love the character, you know, out the gate. So yeah, man, it's really cool. So far, everybody's had a really great response to it, and I just can't wait to get it in front of people and have them watch the whole thing. I think they're going to be surprised by a few things, be really like there's a lot of funny jokes, and just overall just have a really fun ride. You know, the movie is just about just this really fun fantasy with some heart behind it too. So
Great,
I think
great.
think people are going to enjoy it.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
excited to watch it, dude, as well. I can't wait. I did want to ask regarding, so you've based this on an anime character that comes out of a like she's come out of the anime. She needs to get back on time. Have you already thought about spin-offs when it comes to like doing the manga comics or an animation?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
honestly, we actually are making a manga.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we have a manga that we're like in
Awesome.
process of creating right now.
Cool.
I'm really excited about it. And you can actually buy the manga when you go to skyhoshi.com and you get your like ticket to see the digital theater.
Cool.
You can get just the ticket, or you can get the ticket with the manga.
Oh, wow.
And so
Okay.
I'm very excited about that. Um,
Awesome.
yeah,
That's
so
so cool.
we're making a manga. I would love to do an anime one day. That's a little harder to do, but
Yeah.
maybe one day. Yeah, and you know, if the response is great, if people really love it, I do have an outline for like a potential trilogy. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Oh, man.
So
We
there's
got
more
the
that the story could do.
exclusive. The exclusives, guys. We got the exclusive.
Yes.
Most of the listeners that we have, they're starting off on their journey, or inspired by what we've done on our journey with this podcast. Because both myself as a creator, as an artist, and then my brother who does the podcast as well. He's a martial artist. So
Oh, cool.
we started this podcast 8 years ago, having conversations about manga, anime, martial arts, and then moving on to the whole movie world and then sort of comic book world as well. And some of the listeners that we've had come over have been really inspired by starting their own journeys and asking questions and things like that. I want to leave this podcast with some wise words from yourself, for somebody starting off in their career, if it's movie making or film, art, being an artist or doing martial arts or anything like that. What would you give them words of encouragement?
I would say just go out and do it. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait till tomorrow. You know, I think like whatever you have in your hands, whatever situation you're in, there's always a reason not to make art, but there always is a reason to make art. And I would say just go make your art. And if you're afraid of it not being amazing, don't worry, do it again and again and again. Yeah. And one day you'll be closer to where you want to be with your artistry. Artist is never done. So pressure's off. Yeah. Right. And true. You know, just go have fun and be passionate and get started.
No, that's absolutely awesome. Guys, the link is in the description and it'll be in my bio on Instagram and TikTok. So guys, make sure you go check out the premiere of Sky Hoshi. This is going to be awesome. I'm excited to watch it as well. Kalani, thank you so much for your time, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's a great to have this conversation with you and talk to you about your passions. It's absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for coming on. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. I had a lot of fun.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome.